So a lot of people are asking like what happened to Dew? How did Dew die? In the last video I said that I didn't really want to talk about it, but let's get into it. So basically I left Dew at this lady house called Annie Nays, yeah, Annie Nays Village. She wanted a little community center for like kids and the daycare for our kids and everything else. And I left Deer there because my house burned down. And then so I came back to get Deer, right? I came back to get Deer and to check on my house because he was trying to knock it down. And so when I came to visit Deer, you know, Deer, Deer was doing fine, everything. So I put Deer in the backyard, right? And then when I left, Deer ran around the yard, and he jumped the fence and started trying to follow my car. He started trying to follow my car, and he started walking around looking for me, right? Because he always gets upset every time I leave. That's always like what happened to when he doesn't leave the property until I leave. Like that's what happened is like Deer don't leave the property until I leave, right? So anyway, I mean we got a lot of videos and stuff, which we probably going to fetch them out of my videos. I gotta go through my whole videos and stuff, but I gotta fetch them out. Basically, but we have surveillance camera. Anyway, I took videos of a camera, and I don't know what happened to it, but she had the goat jumped over the fence, right, and broke out. And I hate to say it, but I left, the goat wasn't tied up, because the goat wasn't, I was there with the goat all night, and the goat never left the yard. But as soon as I left the property, because my friend Ashley like called me up, having a emergency. She's having a bad day. She was complaining that she wanted to kill herself or something, blah blah blah, something about something. And so I go try to help people because that's the type of person I am. Is always trying to help people. Maybe even though maybe sometimes I shouldn't.
Maybe I should have stayed back. I don't know. Or maybe you should have stayed behind and I should have
I thought the goat would have leave the house, and I thought even if the goat does leave, I didn't think nobody
would shoot him.
Would shoot him. Yeah. So that's basically what happened was that the goat was running the neighborhood. He got a few blocks away, and somebody shot him in the middle of the street. Right. We asked the neighborhood what happened. The neighborhood said that the guy shot him because he was upset with his dog was making his dogs, freaking out his dogs. The cops, somebody, that's what the cop says. The cop says that that was scaring people, and that he didn't know if that would be they was going to be attacking somebody or not. So that's why somebody shot him, quote unquote. That's why somebody shot him. Some of the neighbors said it was the cops actually shot the goat. Because the whole story about him, antagonizing somebody doesn't add up because we have pictures of him in the middle of the street. Somebody got a picture of they dead in the middle of the street.
So like it's just kind of weird to think that someone was standing there in the middle of the street. Like was it a busy street or?
It was like one of the vacant street with like I went through the corner after the whole thing happened, and it was like literally there was one house on the corner, and it was like a completely like vacant neighborhood. Like most of Detroit is like a ghost town, and the cops are very underly funded, right? And I really think that the cops could have shot the goat because they didn't want to call animal control. They didn't have. It was at night. They didn't know what to do. They'd I don't usually when if it was by my house, the cops would have called me. But since the goat was near my house, So the cops called me up, right? And after they shot the goat, or half of the goat were shot, um, and told me that they had the goat. And I told them, yeah, we just bring him by my house and drop him off. And they bring him by my house, and they told me it was that they had some bad news that he was shot, blah blah blah. And then I did the live stream. You could see the live stream about me announcing the goat died. It was right. It was 1 year ago today, November 24th. When the cops dropped the goat off of my house. And we had a couple memorial. I tried to do a couple memorial services and stuff, but I was ready to. At that point, I would think I was ready to just leave Detroit for a while. My house is still there. If anybody want to be part of my foundation, my house, and try to rebuild it, let me know. I don't know what I'm going to do with my house. I might try to rebuild it, but I left some of the volunteers and people that still want to live there in Detroit. They left them with the cats. There was all strays anyways that I fed, and who didn't really live in my house, but they live around my house, and because I put out food for them and stuff. But I messaged all the welfare societies and let them know that I was leaving town, so if they want to come pick it up, they probably did. But and I just left. I had to leave town again because I just didn't feel safe after my goat was murdered and killed, and for the second time, my goat was murdered and killed. The first goat was murdered and killed. That was fighting with the people at my house. It was trying to create a mutiny. They didn't want me to tell them what to do, even though it was my house. They didn't want me to tell them that they had to work or contribute, even though it's my house. And I was fighting with one of the people in the house because one of the ladies came by the house that morning. One of the ladies came by the house, Lane, the goat lady. She actually owned goats herself. She came by my house and was talking to me, working for the University of Florida, was trying to get me answer a questionnaire about the grants that they was trying to get me for help me get my house. I got my house through a grant from the city and stuff, and then I spent my whole life fortune fixing the house up. I raised, people look through my GoFundMe's and stuff and well, you raised a couple $1,000. I'm like, yeah, why you still begging for money, you bum? I'm like, yeah, but I spent all that money on a house that's now burnt to the ground, burnt up and been robbed and vandalized.
It's all messed up.
People don't realize that I'm not rich, I'm not loaded, I don't have a bunch of money, but people are
a rich uncle.
Yeah, they think that balance of total money donation is money that I have sitting in the bank is not. And I wish I knew how to invest money and in stocks and stuff back then, and I didn't. I give most of my money to my family to hold on to for me, and I know, and they give it all back to me to pay for repairs on my house and tools and stuff that got stolen. Yeah, people always coming by my house trying to claim that they're going to do this, that, and other. They end up stealing from me, robbing me, and then I tell them they have to leave because I'm not going to allow people to steal from me and rob from me. And then they get mad and they gotta then they come by and they bust my window or do this or do that, or they end up, they end up stealing my goat because they knew that my goat meant something to me. And that's, I really think, I really don't know why somebody will kill what crazy piece of crap will steal a goat from me And and then for 3 days I had the whole entire news out looking for the goat. Luckily the news was still caring about me at that time, and actually cared about the goat, and that was actually caring enough to put a story out there looking for the goat. And then 3 days later, the cops called me up and say they found my goat underneath the bridge covered in flies, wrapped in a blanket, with his whole neck cut. And it's just like, and then we had to bury the cutie pie was buried in my front yard. We had a whole funeral and stuff for her, and it's just like, it's really broke me up when that happened, because like I had to leave Detroit after that, because I didn't feel safe anymore in my own home, because the cops wouldn't do anything to do it. And then I went downtown and I was protesting the city. I stand on top of the fist, and the day that I stand on top of the Joe Louis fist, the people came and they burned down my house. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I don't understand why it all makes sense. It doesn't really make sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me why so many evil people would do so many evil things. I don't understand why people want to spread rumors and spread lies, things about things that they don't know anything about. They don't realize that you can ask any my friends and the people I try to help, that I do a lot of things to try to help people and give back to the community. But you only can help people as much as they're willing to be helped. You can only help people as much as they're willing to be helping, because you can't change people. And I mean, I'm trying to do what I can to build the community, and because of all the bad things that happened to me, the people don't trust people no more. And people don't trust me anymore. And even though I got no reason that they should fail me, I done nothing, And my whole life I've been it seemed like it's just one bad thing to the next,
Yeah.
Deer saved my life when the people try to break in my house, so so I don't know what happened, but that's the story. This video gets 50 likes. I probably might do another update video on this video with going back through my footage, which I should do anyways, but I'm probably going to do anyways, even if I don't get the likes. But getting the likes will definitely motivate me to do it sooner than later. So yeah.